So we're going to begin the glossary, which is really in a way, it's a summary of the book with the key concepts presented in alphabetical order. So it may be that this is a useful way of, in a way, as I say, summarizing the whole book through the main ideas that are described briefly in alphabetical order in the book. Okay. Despiritualization. I use this term to describe the flattening out of perception and feeling that tries to strip a social milieu of its spiritual quality, of its vitality. Despiritualization effaces a liveliness that would otherwise be there. So, well, much of science or history suffers from despiritualization because phenomena like the incredible beauty of these flowers right here, the extraordinary radiance of the flower itself, the way it turns toward you and lilts out its aura and essence. Science, don't mean to say science is bad, there's a tremendous amount we can learn from the limited method known as the scientific method, when you turn things into objects and analyze them. But if the whole world is perceived through the eye of science, then the world becomes despiritualized and loses its vitality, its life force, its liveliness. And history can make real life despiritualized by, a list of facts and dates and what king came next, and all of a sudden the whole thing is cranking along like a machine. That's the despiritualization of a living environment. The bank, I hate to use that example again. The bank is a despiritualized milieu, often. Meaning, you walk into the bank, there's the tellers, here comes the manager, see if everything's okay. There are a few financial things on the wall, but it is exuding the professionalization and management of a world based on money. So that is the culture. If the bank were a festival, there would be something really absurd about it. It would be great. And in periods of really spirited social movements, of course, banks can be targets of political theater, because the goal is to try and reveal how flattened out the normal life of the bank is, and therefore the whole culture that it represents and symbolizes. Because, of course, the bank, first, they occupy a huge amount of real estate in any city. There are banks everywhere, and they convey what it's all about. That is, if you're focused on money, it's a key place. But it's deprived of liveliness, which contradicts a world based on money. Okay, so despiritualization is some ways what historians do to history, what scientists may do to the being of the world. If the worldview they're conveying is scientistic, and everything is reduced to what you can empirically touch and see, then the life force that can't be touched or seen, but that can be felt as a radiant energy in everything and in all of us, may be made invisible. And the same is true of how we actually live in the world, of environments that we actually live in.